Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about my story and what brought me to where I am today, and kind of a little bit the background of why I do the work that I do and why I'm so passionate about bringing this to the people who need it, which is really most people. But those who think and already have an awareness that something doesn't feel quite right. So let me bring you to, what was that? 15 years back, 10 years back still. 15 years back for sure. I was very happy. I was thriving. I was having the time of my life. I was attending lots of parties, lots of concerts, meeting up with friends, and doing my job, having fun at my job, thinking also that I did a really good job, even though my manager never really gave me the impression that she also really saw the good work that I did, other than barely showing up, which was a sign that my shop was working. So for that quite a long time, my life was really, I was rocking it, I was killing it. And I had big dreams and ambitions also in terms of career. And I was basically happy and living a fabulous life. Now, there was a time when things started to change a little bit. I was asking for a raise at the job where I was at. I got into conversation with my manager and said that after 2 years of really earning quite a low income because I just got out of the apprenticeship, but basically running this store by myself, this shop, and running a small team as well, and basically not needing her because everything was running smoothly, I figured that I would deserve a raise in my salary. But it looks like that she wasn't very much into this idea, and she said that she didn't get any budget in order to pay me more. So that's when I made a decision for myself that maybe this path isn't exactly it, and maybe this is happening for a reason. So already there, I kind of like had I guess, an understanding to a degree that life is somewhat happening for me and not to me. Obviously, it sucked because it really didn't feel so nice to not get that recognition and get the money that I knew I deserved. And I knew other people in my position earned more. So why was I not allowed to, or not, yeah, not accredited more salary, a bigger salary? So I took this opportunity and said, well, fuck it, awesome. I'm just gonna become a snowboard instructor, which was a dream of mine anyway. And so I took the opportunity. I signed up for the training to become a snowboard instructor, and that's how my life kind of like started to turn around a little bit. At first, still in a very, very pleasant way. It was a fabulous life. I had incredible seasons. I changed my set of friends, obviously, but it was just as fun, if not even more fun than it was before. Because here we also tended to live in batches of people together. So we had lots of fun in our winter accommodations, partying again a lot, snowboarding a lot, just having a great time. And some years passed, and I was doing these back and forth season things. And I realized that this is not really sustainable for me, to having to find a summer job every year again, and then winter coming back, finding a place to stay, da 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 da. So I was looking for a place where I could combine all my passions, the passion for my work that I was doing, working with fashion and working in a shop, and my passion for snowboarding and the mountains and the snow. So, and also my ambition to be a shop leader, to one day having maybe my own shop as well. And so I did my research and I found an incredible job in the mountains, year-long position. I didn't get the shop manager position at the time, but I got the shop manager assistant position, which helped me to look into this, to step up without having the full responsibility on my shoulders. And I was also the one who took care of the training of the apprentice, which is something that I absolutely adored doing already at the time, supporting others, helping others to excel in what they're doing, to start seeing the little details and the beauty in the work that we're doing, seeing the beauty in the mundane that we're doing as well. And so that went on a couple of years, and then that kind of crumbled as well again, which led me to yet another opportunity taking of like, okay, my boss didn't want to, maybe a theme, didn't want to give me again the credit that I felt I deserved because I was putting in so much effort into this shop. And so I said, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go to Whistler, Canada, and do a full season there. Realizing I couldn't get work there as a Swiss citizen very easily, I decided to just use the money that I had on the side and just rock and roll it, spent the season there, have the time of my life, party it all out until I come back, and then really start stepping up the career ladder, opening my own shop, hopefully, and really step up into the role that I desire, to be a shop manager or shop owner. Now, that year in Whistler, or that half a year, that season, was epic. It was incredible. I've had, yet again, the time of my life. But when I came back from that trip, when I came back from that experience in Whistler, that's when something changed. I can recall that there was a moment on that airplane flying back, flying over cities of lights. It was night, and I saw all of these lights underneath me, and there was just a moment that something hit me. It wasn't very obvious at the time. I saw it. It was a thought. It was a crazy thought. It was weird. It was strange. It wasn't something that I've ever considered or thought about. And so maybe I just pushed it aside again. But when I arrived back home and started or tried to reintegrate, find another job, work my job, things weren't the same anymore. My brain started being weird. It started giving me thoughts that I've never had before. Before that trip, I never cared about anything but me, really. Obviously, I cared about the people around me, but I was always the priority. I always made sure that I was fine, that I was feeling good, that I was content, and everything else was bonus. But not anymore. All of a sudden, I had all of these intrusive thoughts. I had emotions bubbling up. I was crying a lot and I didn't understand why. I had no energy in my legs. I recall how incredibly energyless and weak my legs felt. So much that I had a hard time walking upstairs. So much that I remember one time not kneeling down, but crouching down, squatting down, and I could barely get myself up anymore. There was no power in my legs. There was no driving force in my life anymore for some reason. And all of these thoughts about the world, it started feeling like I'm crying for the world. as a little side note, yes, throughout the past 6 months, I did become more and more aware of certain things that are happening in the world. Previous to no, that was the second time. So yes, so things just started being super weird. And then I decided that maybe I'm just missing the culture because I was living in the mountains. There wasn't a lot of concerts and the things happening. Like all we did was just go to the bar at night, get drunk again, go home and work and snowboard. That's basically what we did. And so I decided to move to the city. I found another job, again, as shop manager assistant in a flagship store of the biggest um, skate and snowboard shop chain in Switzerland. And I was super excited. I was super stoked. I loved the job to start with, but it rather quickly started to turn around because this shop environment in the city, like in the center of Zurich, not even in the center, was right at the train station, just didn't attract the kind of people we would normally have in snowboard and skate shops in this lifestyle segment. And so the customers started changing and the vibe started changing. So I didn't feel the city vibe. I didn't feel that anymore. And more crazy thoughts started happening. And one day I decided to go back to Whistler. I decided to go back also because I kind of got together with a guy that I met there that I lived with. And I wanted to be with him. I wanted to be there again. And I wanted to see whether what I've lost in Whistler, I can find it again, I guess. And I went back. But before that, yeah, that was really, really cool. Before I got back, one day, a lady entered our shop. I was in charge that day, and she came to me and asked me for a fundraiser to share some money or some prices or donations for a fundraiser that they're doing for a project in Africa. And I got curious and I started asking her a few more things. I knew that my boss wouldn't, like most likely wouldn't pay into this because they are very involved already in donating and sponsoring the youth in Switzerland around sports, skating, snowboarding, and all that jazz. I told her I'm going to take it up anyway. I'll present it to him, but that I was really curious and interested as well in her project. So she said, do you want to go for lunch? So we did. We had a great conversation, and I decided to join her for 2 months to go to Africa, see her project, and help and support and get an experience. And that was incredible in itself, but it was also very eye-opening again into like what is going on in the world and what's going on with humanity and all of this. And then going back, I remember I was really confused. It started in Zurich there as well already, like, or it continued. I started journaling, I started blogging, I started sharing my thoughts, I started sharing my ideas, visions, questions with the world around me. And when I got to Whistler for that second time, I wasn't the same person anymore. I wasn't as happy anymore. I wasn't as driven anymore. I felt lost. I felt down. I felt depressed often as well. I felt anxious. And so I started living there, not having a job, realizing that I need to kind of figure out a daily schedule for myself if I wanted to survive these 6 months in another country. And this is how I started going to the local gym for some, what did I do first? Circuit trainings. usually with elderly people at 10 a.m. in the morning. Nobody else was available at that time because everybody's working. I went to that gym. I did that for a couple of days, maybe 2 weeks, and then a sign said that there was a dance course being offered in contemporary dance. And I remembered that I used to take a contemporary dance class, and I really, really loved dancing, and I really loved doing that. So I signed up for it. Joining that dance class, I met someone who was a Pilates teacher, and she invited me to come to one of her classes in another gym, which I did and enjoyed the Pilates class. And then I saw that on the same time that she's hosting or she's having her Pilates classes every lunchtime or every second lunchtime, every other lunchtime was a yoga class. So I took a 10 pass and joined these yoga classes as well. And something happened in one of these yoga classes that just kind of like blew up a lid again within me. And I had this epiphany in this moment. I remember I was in a twist and the teacher was saying something and I just started bawling. Like there was just this wave of energy exploding from the inside, tears shooting out into my eyes, and just this full body sensation of just complete gratitude and yet devastation. But in that moment, I promised myself that I want to know this. I want to be able to understand what this yoga thing is, what it was that just triggered such an emotional response in me. And I knew that I want to have that in my life. And eventually I ended up doing a teacher training with this teacher, more as an immersion for myself, as a deepening into the philosophy and the understanding of postures and all of that, not to become a teacher just yet, because I literally just started with yoga. And that was incredible. My energy started boosting up a little bit again. I started feeling like I had a sense of purpose and there was something that I could do and give to the world. And when I came back to Switzerland, I moved and I moved to a new area where I didn't know anyone other than my mom. And I really don't know why I came here. I definitely didn't come here for my mom at the time. But there was lakes, there was mountains, there was lots of expats, and that's basically, I think, the most important thing that I needed around me, and lots of activities and outdoor stuff. So I arrived here. I remember also that even though there was more drive again, there was still, the depression was still there, anxiety was still there. And so I also went to see a therapist in the meantime. And yeah, so I think it was the therapist that made me aware that I needed to find a home base again. And so I guess that's how I came here, because it was such a beautiful place and I wanted to create a life here. Where was I going with this? So, yes, so I came back as a new certified yoga teacher. Again, not intending to teach, but I was very, very, very excited about yoga, about how it felt, about what I did, about the teaching and the sequencing of things and the stories that I could start bringing into it as well. And at some point, I was looking for yoga classes around the area. There was literally like nothing. There was a handful of teachers that were teaching completely something else. And I was at the time I was looking for a hip vinyasa power class, flowy and with music and all that jazz. And there was just nothing in the area at the time. So my partner at the time started encouraging me. It's like, Fabs, just do your own thing. start your own yoga classes, invite people, and do your own shit, like create your own community. And that's what I started to do. And it started off like really, really amazing. I had the support of my partner. He was cheering me up like a rock star, and I really loved it. And I really, really felt that confidence that I've never experienced before. Obviously, I was still nervous, I was insecure, but I had these friends and people coming to my classes, really enjoying the sessions, and I just really loved teaching. And as the time went, the hype and the rock star feeling started to fade at some point again. I guess the initial dopamine of the new started fading. And despite of me doing all of the things, I did the positive affirmations, I did the meditations, I tried, I did all of the things, and yet my life started crumbling again. My thoughts started being weird again, negative again. I started crying a lot again. And my partner at the time, he couldn't really cope with it because he didn't understand why I would be crying all the time and being so sad and concerned all the time. I didn't fucking know. I didn't understand. I was doing all of the things, and yet nothing seemed to work. Everything seemed lost again. All the good stuff that I had, all the good feelings started to fade away. And that's when I started diving deeper into, I went more into personal growth, working with the mind, working with the body, still obviously through yoga, but it was a lot of self-development work that I started doing, courses I would take. And one in particular, it started with a book. One day I was looking up for a book. It was meant to be the code of the Matrix, written by Seven Bomar, whom I was listening to at the time quite a lot on YouTube. And I was trying to find that book, but I couldn't find his book. But what I came across was The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And the cover of the book kind of like intrigued me, and the title of the book obviously as well. And I ordered that book, and that book changed the trajectory of my life and changed my life completely. Within this book, it's fully packed. There's so much I could talk about that Vision shares in this book, but one of the biggest takeaways, I guess, was the 6-phase meditation protocol. The 6-phase meditation is a 20-minute meditation or visualization protocol that you're supposed to be doing every day in order to reprogram your mind. And so the idea and the phases and the topics shared in there really, really caught my attention and interest. But quite a few of these phases, the way that they were taught, didn't really land fully for me. And yet I understood the power and the potency of it. So I went to dig deeper and search in other places for other ways to get into the understanding of these different phases and how to really learn these skills and acquire these tools and skill and use them as skills. And through that journey, I started basically developing my own personal training for myself, which eventually started leading me out of the depression more and more. It wasn't a work that I did for a couple of weeks and then I was there. It took me a decade. It took me a good decade. And from the moment when I read this book, that was in 2017, I think 2020 was the first moment when I had my depression really feeling lift off of me. It was during COVID, when everybody else got into depression, I kind of like managed to dissolve it. And that wasn't necessarily a 6-phase meditation related, but through what I came to understand on my journey to researching more and more to comprehend what this 6-phase meditation is, how it works, and how it is the most potent. And so I created my own program, my own training to help others move through that as well. And what I, over time, now also come to see is like I see more layers. For me, certain things that I've been practicing and doing in the 6th phase, the way that I was doing it, started again leading me into a down spiral in certain areas. It was especially in the senses or in terms of goal setting and manifesting. And so I keep learning, I keep going to find other ways to accommodate my needs, to accommodate myself, my personal growth. And on that journey, I see so many things. And at the end of the day, I start realizing that it always comes back to one or multiple of these 7 life skills that I teach in my course. These 7, I call them the 7 most essential parts that we need to have in place in order to live a fabulous life. And living a fabulous life to me doesn't mean that you're living a happy, shiny rainbow life every day. A fabulous life to me is a life that is experienced from the inside out, that has a deep understanding of why certain things happen, that understanding that I get to be the one to decide how I want to experience a certain situation. I get to be the one to train myself on certain behaviors. And I am the one who gets to surrender as well to the flow of life at times. And through the 6th phase and that framework, I feel that I have created the most potent space for you, for anyone to learn the foundational tools needed in order to live a fabulous life. A life that feels empowered by yourself. A life that feels powered by your desires, by your heart, by your core. And the 7 elements of that are radical acceptance, the understanding of learning how to just simply accept the things as they are right now, for now. Compassion, love and union, creating love and generating union. That's the skill where you actually start understanding that you're not even only responsible for creating the love that you desire to feel. Usually we think that we receive it from the outside, but we are the ones generating it. So we can create that sense of love, worthiness from within. We don't need anybody else from the outside to tell us. Then we have gratitude, the skill of gratitude. And oftentimes in the personal growth world, if you just read some books or do some courses, but you don't get full personal guidance, you might be misled that gratitude is just about the beautiful things in your life, that it's just about being grateful for the home that you have, for the family that you have, for the friends you have, or for the clothes that you're wearing, or the shoes that you're buying, or the car that you're driving, or the phone that you're using, or whatever it is. But that's not where the actual power of gratitude comes from. And I'll teach you that in my course. Number 4 is forgiveness. That skill of and the ability to forgive others is one of the most difficult for many of us because we misunderstand the concept of forgiveness. We oftentimes think that forgiveness needs to be given from the other, or if we are giving forgiveness, that we say that what the other person did was okay. But that's not the case. Forgiveness really sets us free. The ability to forgive gives us the freedom and the power back. Vision calls it to become unfuckwithable. And I think that's a really, really cool adjective. Unfuckwithability. Like whatever anybody does, it just doesn't touch me so much anymore. Of course, sometimes it hurts. Of course, sometimes it makes me sad when other people treat me unnicely. But it doesn't fuck with me so much anymore as it used to. And again, here we're going much, much deeper into this as well. And you start, once you've done with the course, with this training, you'll realize that you don't even need forgiveness anymore because you just understand how life works and how people work. And then we have the skill or tool number 5, which is creative visualization. And creative visualization really is such a broad skill to have, because once you understand what creative visualization is and how to do it, you can basically start creating anything. In a sense, we already start doing creative visualization in the compassion part, because we start visualizing the sensation happening, creating that feeling of love. In gratitude as well, in forgiveness as well, we visualize ourselves forgiving. We visualize visualize ourselves taking our power back, not giving it out to the other anymore. But so here in the state in the skill 5, we really start honing in the power of creative visualization. And in doing that, in this context of this course, we're using it in terms of creating or uncovering our core desires and then visualizing a future. But we're not visualizing, and that's the key that a lot of people misunderstand and do wrong. We're not focusing on the future as like in the future. In the creative visualization, we bring this future vision into the here and now, this physical body experience in the very present, by using all of the 5 senses, eyesight, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. We're going into the experience of what it is that we desire to experience in the future. So we bring it here into the present moment, realizing that we can already become this version, already start creating this version of our life. And then in phase 6, no, that's phase 5, but skill number 6, we zoom in from the zoomed out perspective of the future life vision, the broader life vision. We zoom in into the here and now, into the present moment, by visualizing the perfect day ahead. So we start to use creative visualization to learn that we get to choose how to be in a certain situation. So if there is a certain pattern of a situation happening and a reaction from you coming that then leads to a certain outcome that's not really pleasant most of the times for you or people around you, we get to start becoming aware of these moments. And that's just like going to the gym and lifting weights. You don't go to the gym and start lifting 100 kilograms of weight right away. You start with 5 kilograms, then add 5 more, go to 10, go to 20, go to 30. And slowly, slowly you build up. And slowly, slowly the muscles build until 50 kilos are just peanuts for you to carry, to lift. And so with these visualizations, creative visualizations, it's the same. We start small. We start with a small piece, with something that seems manageable. And then we step it up and we take more challenging situations into consideration. So it can happen that maybe to start with, you imagine a situation that might regularly occur when you walk into a cafe and the waiter is not really giving you the nicest hello or something. They're giving you an attitude or whatever. It's just like this icky feeling from them, which then leads you to feeling icky all day, feeling annoyed by this person, and you can't stop thinking about this person being rude to you. And this ruins your entire day. This is how it happens when we are unconsciously going through our day. But when you start becoming aware, you can visualize that situation. You can put yourself in the visualization into the shoes of the other person, imagining that they might just have had a really, really shitty night, or maybe they just broke up with their partner, or maybe their mother just died, or whatever. Kind of like finding a little bit of compassion for the person so that when you meet them, you can meet them with a different attitude. You can pause for a second before you react. And you can say, okay, I see you. I guess you're really in pain. Otherwise, you wouldn't probably be that way to me now. I forgive you. And I take my power back and I continue my day in the way that I choose to. And it can go all the way up to you visualizing somebody in your life potentially leaving this physical body, dying, transitioning. How would you like to respond in that moment? Because when we're not aware of the potentiality of certain rough happenings and events in our lives, which are inevitable for any of us, we might reach that point, we might reach that situation, and that situation is just going to hit us and slap us in the face like nothing we've ever felt before, because we were not prepared. But if we were prepared and we have a knowing and a desire of how we wish to respond in that situation, then we can accept certain inevitable life circumstances in a much more skilled way. And that doesn't mean that we are not feeling the grief, doesn't mean that we're not going to feel sad and lonely and that there's going to be a void. But we will be able to move through what's happening much more elegantly and gracefully in a way that also doesn't put us down too much, because the other person most likely didn't want that anyway for us. So really, really starting to practice situations in our life before they happen. And by using creative visualization, some say that it's the law of attraction kind of thing that's in place there. And others would say that it's just your reticular activating system that's activated there. That's the part of the brain that when you start thinking about something, you start noticing it in your life more and more evidence starts showing about that. And so once you start knowing how to use this creative visualization, you can use it in so many different ways. It's incredible. And then we have the last skill, skill number 7 or phase number 6, is the blessing, or I call it the surrender to the flow of life. Here we are really just acknowledging that as much as we think we are the creators of this life and that we are in charge, we really aren't that much in charge if we think about it. I don't think about beating my heart. I don't think about cleaning my liver. I don't think about breathing. I don't think about pumping blood. I don't think about spreading nutrients all over my body. I don't think about picking my nose when there's something stuck in there. I don't think about pulling my head away when there's a ball coming at me. I don't think when I sit into my car and start driving. I did at the beginning, but no longer, right? Once you do something so many times, it just becomes automatic. It becomes second nature. And there's something other than you who's kind of like running the show. And we can go into depths and depths and depths of that as well. But within my course, I really just want to bring the awareness and acknowledgement for you. And that doesn't have to become like that you have to start believing in God or anything. And a person up in the sky who's like deciding who's going to heaven and who's going to hell. But just a sense of understanding or connection to where your life is coming from. And that in itself can have huge transformational power and potency for your life. And there's so many nuances in that I want to bring to you that are oftentimes lost in translation when we do regular coaching courses or group coaching courses or personal growth programs of any sort. So many important key points are being missed because people are just spreading and sharing a message that they've heard somewhere and that might have worked for them for a second. And they might still be in the delusion that it's working for them when it actually isn't. And for me, my personal experience was like that and is like that. A lot of the things that I do that people hype that you're supposed to do, like positive affirmations. It's like positive affirmations, you guys, only make sense when you already believe it. If you don't believe your positive affirmation and you don't feel it in your body that this is true, prove me wrong, but it doesn't work. When I did it to try to get out of my depression, out of my feeling of feeling ugly, of feeling unworthy, of feeling unloved, of feeling poor, of feeling like a failure, of feeling stupid, of feeling silly, of feeling all of unhealthy and all of this jazz. I thought I just had, and they told me, just repeat your positive affirmations. Repeat every day. I am loved. I am worthy. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am this. I am that. But guess what? I got even more into depression after that. Like I started feeling worse and worse and worse. And why was that? Because my entire experience, my physical experience of myself at the time was everything but being loved, being worthy, being wealthy, being rich, being this, being that. So whenever I would repeat this in my head, and I would tell myself that I was loved, I am rich. It was like my body, my physical experience, who knew that this was not true right now in this experience, just went, nope, 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 nope. And it created this huge disconnect from what I was trying to tell myself to what my experience actually was. And it wasn't until I came to across Joe Dispenza's work of brain and heart coherence and Esther Hicks's what if kind of work. And I don't exactly know what came when and whether I got it from Esther Hicks, but I started realizing that it doesn't work if I say I am something that I don't already feel in my body. Then it just creates disconnection. So what did I do? I came across this beautiful golden bridge. And I know that Esther Hicks is using it. I don't know if she uses it in that context, but I just started using it as that bridge, and it was a game changer. And the bridge is, instead of saying I am, you say, wouldn't it be nice if I could feel worthy? Wouldn't it be nice if I could feel loved? Wouldn't it be nice if I could feel rich or be rich? Wouldn't it be nice if I could feel healthy? And all of a sudden, the suggestion or the thought in my head generated a yes in my body. Of course, like my body just responds like, of course it would be beautiful to feel worthy. Of course it would be beautiful to feel loved. Of course, yes, it would feel amazing to be rich, to feel healthy, to feel wealthy, to feel beautiful, to feel gorgeous, to feel smart, to feel wise. And so all of a sudden, I started bringing head, like the brain and the heart, the brain and the body, closer and closer. And the more I would say these bridges, wouldn't it be nice if, wouldn't it be nice if, wouldn't it be nice if? There was one day when I started realizing, what do you mean, wouldn't it be nice with? Wouldn't it be nice if? I am worthy. I am loved. I am love. I am rich. I am abundant. I am supported. I am worthy. I am wealthy. I am rich. So without me doing much other than repeating these, wouldn't it be nice if phrases, I came into coherence with the I am statement. And from that place, I get to now use the I am statements in a way to remind myself of what I am, just so that I don't forget, of reminding and reinforcing that belief of and that knowing that I am love, that I am abundant, that I am wealthy, that I am worthy, that I am powerful, that I am inspiring, that I am supportive, that I am caring. And this is only one huge game changer that I can share with you that I'm pretty sure you have not yet heard of in that way. There's going to be a gazillion of those. Because why can I share this with you is because I actually experienced this shit. I've been there. Realizing or learning that I have ADD and my brain just kind of like doesn't really function the same way as other brains do or normal brains do. It started giving me the understanding of why I was struggling so much with so many things. And at this stage, I haven't overcome everything. I still can't get my body to do certain actions that my brain and heart wants to. But I surrendered and I used compassion for myself. I used forgiveness for my actions and behaviors. I used gratitude for the way and the genius of the brain that I have in the ways that I can use it, so that I don't have to blame myself anymore for the way that I am. And I get to start learning how to leverage the genius that lives inside of me more and more, trying to get out of the conformities and the ideation of society of like how we're supposed to work, how things are supposed to be done. And it's a process, and I'm still in the process of that. But I have so many things already that I can share with you in terms of this as well. It will blow your mind. It will rattle your world. It will rock your boat. It will change the way you experience this life. I tell you. I promise you. I promise you that your life will not be the same anymore in a positive way once you've done the foundational course that I'm sharing with you around the 6-phase meditation framework. And on top of that, you will get meditations, visualizations, you will get your nervous system relaxed, because that is one huge component that so very little coaches talk about. It's like how important it is for our personal growth that our system is at ease and peace, that we feel safe in our body, that we feel in love with ourselves and life. If we are not there, then the chasing of dreams and external goals just becomes a freaking hustle. And we just start running the unicorn race and hustling and hustling and hustling to get to this beautiful, perfect, envisioned life. But when we don't do the groundwork, it's just going to be a fucking hustle, and you're going to be up there and you'll have achieved your awesome vision and your awesome goals. But guess what? It won't feel fulfilling. It won't feel fabulous. It won't feel good. You will be there for a second. You will go, yes, I've achieved it. And then you're going to go like, fuck, I still feel like shit. Duh. Should have come to my course before. Telling you now. If you have been trying to achieve goals and you have achieved goals and yet you still feel like shit, you still feel depressed, you still feel like you're not worthy, you still feel like you're not good enough, this is your chance. This is your chance. Come join me. Take this opportunity to change things around for yourself, but also for everybody that comes after you, for your daughters, your sons, for their daughters, their sons, for the people around you that see you, that get inspired through your actions, through the way that you live. We need to change something about how we experience life, because we can't keep living in this drama dynamic and like this fear of, or this lack sense of purpose or whatnot, this desire, this huge need to reach these big goals in order to leave these huge legacies, in order to feel worthy and that you've joined or followed your purpose. It's a whole other topic that I can talk to you about. The nonsense of searching your purpose. But that's one for another book. So that being said, I rambled a lot. But I have lots and lots of downfalls and reasons why I am entitled to share all of these things, to teach you the fundamentals of a fabulous life, to teach you how to use these specific skills in creative ways so that you can make them your own. I'm not giving you a do this, do this, do this, do this, exactly this and exactly this way for exactly 21 minutes for 21 days, and then your life will be like you'll be a millionaire. You actually might, but it's not the promise I'm making. And I'm also not telling you. There's a few things I'm going to tell you in the course in order for it to really work. But that's just for the time that we are working together. And that's a container of 3 to 4 months where you get all of the teachings and all of the skills, and you'll learn how to use it. And then after that, you'll get to start using it in your personal life, in the like customized to your life. And I will be there to guide you. I'll be there for you to check back in to see how you can use it in case you get a little bit lost or you don't know exactly how you could use or which tool you should use for which situation. But I trust that most of you will already know how to use it. But I'll be there to guide you. After that, you fucking do with this shit whatever you want to do, as long as it is serving your life's experience, not your purpose, your life's experience. Because your life experience is really the only purpose of you, of any of us. Some of us have bigger purposes, and the experiences that we are to have might seem a little bit bigger, might seem a little bit more important, but they're not. They just seem bigger because these people get bigger stages or get more people to listen to them. But that doesn't mean that their work is more important or that their experience is more important than yours, and that you should have that experience rather than yours. So the only purpose of your life is having an experience. And now you create with this experience whatever the fuck you choose. It's like that. So let's just do this. Let's just do this. If this at all spoke to you in any way, please reach out to me. Let me know that you are curious. I have many different ways in which I could share this, in which I would want to share this. I haven't yet fully decided on how to. But as long as I know that there's people out there who are actually interested in this and curious and who are willing to change themselves in a way that they are seeing and experiencing life in order for others then as well to experience life differently, then I know that the work that I'm doing is going to support others, and I know that it will. So I just hope that I reach the right people with this message. If you're still here listening now, you are definitely one of them, and I am beyond grateful for you. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for listening to me, to listen to my story. I don't even know if this made sense. I started telling a story and I realized also that I went way back. I could have started this at the yoga class in Whistler probably, but to make my point of I've tried a lot of these proven strategies in the personal growth and spiritual world, and they have not worked for me. And I found ways how to make it work for me. And I know that if you are in a similar place and you have tried all of the things and yet still your life doesn't feel like it's going the way it's supposed to go, I'm your girl. I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I'm the person who's going to help you cut through that bullshit. Because it's really just that. It's just a bunch of bullshit that you have been told and that you have bought into. And we're just going to cut this off and give you what you actually need and give your soul what you actually need, what it actually needs. So I can't wait. Let me know. Don't even know how long this was. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't wait to work with you, actually. So yes, let me know if you're interested. If you're really interested as well, I want you to go and book a call with me. We can do a free discovery call where we can exchange some thoughts and ideas. You can tell me where you're at in your life. And I can tell you whether I'm going to be the right person for you and whether it will make sense for us to work together. And we can figure out how we get to work together. Preferably for me, it crystals out more and more. It's like 3 months is like not even enough. I might not even offer 3 months working with me anymore. It's just going to be 6 months, and that's the minimum. Preferably to go up to a year, because I know that's at least how long it takes for us to really start integrating and to be able to start using all of these tools and these skills in the right way, so that we don't use a fucking hammer to fix a lamp, right? So that we don't use a screwdriver to pump up a tire. And that's what a lot of us are doing. And we don't know that we're doing it wrong because nobody told us yet that this is not the way it's supposed to be done. So let me support you. Let me help you. Book a call. Let's get together. I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to change the world one conversation at a time. Change the narrative that we're telling our stories, change the narrative in which we experience life, so that we can teach that to our children as well, so that they don't have to do all the trauma work when they're growing up, because we're just teaching them this set of beliefs that things get wrong, you get traumatized, you get wounded, and then you have to heal, you have to recover, you have to do a lot of hard working in order to feel good about yourself again. It's like, it's not true. You get to feel good right here, right now. No matter what happened to you, no matter what you have done so far. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past, what you've experienced in the past. It can matter if you want it to matter, and it will matter if you make it matter, but it doesn't have to matter in order for you to move forward, to live, to feel fabulous about your life, about the experience. And yes, also when it's a little bit shit. And that's the beauty of this work. Like, we start realizing that we actually get to live in the duality of things. We get to be content and yet sad. We get to be happy and grieving at the same time. We get to be all of these things. We get to be it. We can feel sorry for something we've done and okay with the fact that it happened and I can't change it anymore right now, but I have a choice on how to move forward. I don't have to stay feeling sorry for the rest of my life. That's not going to help me move forward. So I get to be sorry, acknowledge the shit that I've done, but then be okay again with who I am right now and the choice that I'm making from here forward. And I might fuck it up again because it's just such a deep-rooted pattern of my person, of my personality, my personal reality, because of the labels that I've received, because of the labels that I've put onto myself. I'm just that kind of person. It's just what I do. I can't help it. But we get to reprogram that over and over again until it's just not who I am anymore. And we use creative visualization as well. Again, we use forgiveness, we use gratitude, we use compassion, all of that jazz. We use it all. And we can move forward from there. Does that make sense? Like, does that make at all sense to you? I could go on. There's so much that I have to share with you. I'm going to stop here. I hope that you receive that message. I hope that you receive the urgency as well for you, for your soul, for your children, for the people after you, to start doing this work, to start diving into this the real way. Don't read the wrong books. Don't take the wrong courses. Come join me. This is the real deal. And I am saying this because I really, truly believe it. If we've gone through it and you feel that this was utter bullshit and nonsense, you know what? I'm going to give you your money back. If you really think that what I've been sharing with you was everything but helpful, I will ask you questions because I want to know. I want to understand, but I will give you your money back. So thank you very much for watching. I can't wait to receive your booking, and I can't wait to talk to you. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to fucking rock the world with you. I love you. Bye. You got this. Boom.